So, welcome to day 11 of our journey of Money Abundance Challenge. And today's topic is something which is quite exceptional, is not something that we discuss on a regular basis, is not something that comes up in regular conversation. Today, we're going to discuss about what is the whole process of going ahead with manifestation. So, in all our works, not only in this workshop, in everything else also that we do in our life, in all our learnings, one thing is very clear to understand that it is our intention that makes things happen. That's quite a commonplace and it's easily understood. And that's one of the most general things that we will start with. Our intention has to be in line with our dreams, our intention has to be in line with what we require. Having said that, there's no value to be taken away from intention, but that is not enough. I would like you to pay real attention to what I'm going to share with you today. That intention in itself could not do what you require and what you dream of. In this series of 24 sessions, we are going to be talking about subjects of deep philosophy, deep psychology, human behavior, and universal laws. So I would really request all of us to repeat these classes as many times as possible for yourself. It's not possible to get all the information in one go for most of us. When you repeat the lectures, you'll definitely find more value, and also it could really find a center within you, because the first time we hear something, it is just information, and when we repeat it, it becomes our knowledge. So, continuing with what we were discussing, as if not intention alone, what else comes into the picture? Just like we have a road and we want to reach from A to B, having a road itself is not enough. Having a journey destination is not enough. We also need to plan for the halts and the stoppages in the way. And also, we want to be aware of all the speed breakers that might come along the way. What are these speed breakers? These speed breakers are not necessarily bad things. The concept of speed breakers or the term speed breaker might not be inviting, but it's actually a positive thing that helps the journey even better. But let's just learn to go into all the details of our journey towards our dream, towards our 100% achievement, so that journey itself is quite smooth, is expected, and it moves along at our own pace and not with the feeling of being out of control. That's really the essence of personal growth, because growth in itself is evolutionary. Just take a moment and absorb this within you. Growth in itself is evolutionary. What we want to do with our concentration, with our dedicated willpower, and our focus is to have a controlled growth pattern, or moreover, to grow in a particular direction that we have envisioned for ourselves. So these speed breakers necessarily mean actually a point of reflection. These speed breakers are put in place to make sure that we are not speeding beyond what is available and what should be allowed. There are such speed breakers within our system and also in our mind that has naturally been put in place by our system, our evolutionary system, and also our thought process. Our brain is a device in place to protect us. That's its only function. That's its only work. Our brain only understands protection of your being, protection of your physical existence. It cannot comprehend ambition, aspiration, achievement. It cannot understand luxury, status, competition. It does not understand that. It does not understand a gold medal. It understands the feeling that you will choose to express after receiving the gold medal. And if you revise that feeling properly, it will keep revising the gold medal for you because it understands that is what pumps the blood much more. Let's repeat that. So, along with celebration, there's also one more aspect in us that pumps the blood much faster, and that is our nervousness, our anxiety, our tension. If you break up the word intention, it comes down to intention, the tension that we hold within. Within the word intention, the idea is in place. It talks about the way our mind works. Our mind loves to work or requires to work in a series or a situation of tension. When you have a cycle, when you have a car, and the belt can only move when there is tension in the belt, when it is propelling the sprockets. If the belt or the chain of the cycle is loose, the cycle doesn't move. So, just like that, there are levers in our brain that require a certain tension for it to move and function properly. And this tension is provided either by our own work, either by our own thoughts, or by life itself. So remember, if you don't challenge yourself, life will challenge you. It's not because life is picking up on you, or life is isolating you, or life does not wish to bless you, or any of those common statements that we can imagine. But we ourselves invite challenges in our life because we are not stimulating ourselves enough. If you have this much of energy capacity within you, and if you're practicing this much of tension, the rest, life will fill in the gaps. Let's bring our focus back to what we have learned earlier. Life is about vitality. Life is about expressing the life energy. So, just like you have resources, you are a resource for the planet. If you don't behave or perform to your optimum level, life is going to stretch you. It's going to bring situations that demand more of you. And often, what happens is when we don't challenge ourselves and when life challenges us, we start behaving in a pious way. We start behaving more conscious. We start doing the right things. We stop hurting the people. We start saying good and positive things when our life is challenged. So, what is the message we are giving to our life? And what is the message we are giving to our brain? That only when I'm challenged, I'm going to start behaving in the correct way, in a pious way, in a conscious way, in a positive way. So we need to learn this habit of remaining all these beautiful things, all this optimum performance without life having to challenge us. I'm going to just initiate one thought, which we're going to be going very much deeper into the upcoming week. But let's create a foundation work for it and just absorb this very deeply. There are only two types of issues that we face. One, fear of failure. something that most of us have heard of, have dealt with, have even overcome. The second thing that can easily escape our mind is the fear of success. So allow yourself to understand this, absorb it, and take it deep within you without any judgment, as we'll be continuing to work on this much deeper. But let this just be a seed or a starting point to listen or get aware that something like this exists as well. We could fear our own success, and that is our own speed breaker. Speed breakers are put in place so that we don't go in a speed which is beyond our control. So, our mind and our consciousness will also put speed breakers in our path, in our thoughts, in our vocabulary, in our actions, so that we don't pick up some speed or we don't start demanding such dreams that we are not ready to accept or digest. So, these are really broad topics and very core topics that I'm initiating with you. Absorb it, and for sure, we'll be going into each of them much in detail because this holds the key to understanding our human psychology, of how it works. And just like any game, once you understand the rules of the game, you can plan to win it, right? So, with this thought, let's just begin today's meditation as I'm going to guide you into areas of your life where you might not necessarily like to look into, where you might not necessarily be able to observe on a day to day basis, but it holds equal importance as does our dreams. Let's look at our speed breakers today. So let's begin. Please find a quiet place as we begin our meditation and our journey within.